friends.
Hello.
Welcome back to Heartland Family Adventures. Today you have Sam and Dave here with you. We're going to be sharing kind of a new kind of sort of video for us anyway, based on what you'll find on our channel, based on one of the questions that we receive probably the most often from our family and our friends, people who've reached out to us since we started our channel, who have questions for us based on our family travels to Disney World. And so one of the most common questions that we get is based on our family strategy for how, and our itinerary, how do we go about our day when we visit Magic Kingdom or any of the parks at Disney World? We're gonna break these down by park to make it more digestible and easy for you guys to follow. Because this is one of the most common questions I think that we typically get from people.
Yeah.
Like how do we go about our days when we visit the parks? We visited the parks many times over the years with our family. We are a family of 4. We've got 2 kids. Their ages are 10 and 6. So that kind of give you perspective. We're going to be sharing our perspective kind of from a family perspective with younger kids in those kind of 2 age buckets.
Yeah, which makes a big difference, obviously.
Yeah. So thinking like elementary age, you know, our daughter's going to be starting middle school next year. So it kind of gives you an idea of kind of the age ranges for our kids.
And she's tall enough to ride anything now. Some things she may not want to still, just because a little scared or doesn't want to, but she can ride anything.
Yeah.
Henry is still not quite tall enough for a few rides, but so that makes difference how we plan it. Yeah,
so kind of walk you through kind of our I guess our process for how we break up our day and how we kind of go about our visits, kind of our go-to plan for how we approach our visits to Magic Kingdom, and kind of walk you through kind of our steps in the process. We're focusing on tips, tricks, and strategies, how to go about your day, going into some of the rides that you can enjoy based on anything that has height requirements or those that don't have height requirements, and then we're going to break down some of our kids. Our kids are actually going to rank their top 5 favorite rides for each of our kids, and then we're going to share our family favorite rides that are our favorites for our whole family. So we're going to start you right from the beginning of the day, as if you were, you know, starting your day, you're going to Magic Kingdom, and how do we start our day? So for us anyway, we really enjoy Tron, which is the newest, one of the most popular rides at Magic Kingdom. Yes.
It's based on the movie, which is actually an old version of the Tron movie and a newer one. Yeah, it's a really cool attraction. It does have a higher height requirement. So keep that in mind. Our son, 6 years old, is not tall enough. Right. It's 48 inches.
48-inch height requirement.
Which is pretty tall for Disney.
But our daughter really loves the ride.
Yeah.
But since it's a new ride, they still do have a virtual queue for this ride. And you can basically go into the Disney World app and to get into the virtual queue for this ride. And the first option that you have in the day is at 7 a.m. on the day of your visit. So we get up in the morning, we're getting ready to go to the park. We get up at 7 a.m. We're still in our resort room or hotel, but we're pulling up the Disney World app and right before 7 a.m. to get a virtual queue for Tron.
And to be clear, if you're new to virtual queue, before 7 a.m., at least 5 minutes before I open my phone, make sure you're ready. These things go quick typically, most of the time. You want to be there watching the clock. It's watch at 6:59 and you're in the app, you're where you need to be to click join the queue.
Yep.
That's the only way you're going to be able to get in.
If for some reason you missed that 7 a.m. virtual queue spot, you do have another chance later in the day. That's going to be when you're in the park at Magic Kingdom at 1 o'clock, you get another chance to join the virtual queue. If for some reason you didn't get in at 7 a.m.
And that can work out. I think most of the time it does work out, but not always. So I'd recommend if you really want to do the ride, make sure you do it in the morning.
Yep. So that's going to be one thing that gives you kind of if you get that virtual queue at 7 a.m., it's going to give you a time range that you can come back to go and get into line for that ride, to enjoy that ride. So that's the first thing in the morning. So next major strategy for our family is to do what's called rope drop. So rope drop is considered arriving to the park before, I guess basically before they've actually opened, before they've officially opened, where they literally have ropes that are roping off some of the lands within Disney World, kind of Magic Kingdom lands. And so, and they literally will release the ropes to let the crowds come in. So you can come into the front entrance of the park. They'll allow you into Magic Kingdom. And then the way that Magic Kingdom is broken out from the hub into all of the various lands, they kind of steer people into different directions in the morning, depending on various categories of Disney World guests. So you have your Disney World guests who are staying at a Disney resort. They have what's called early entry, where they can basically get into the lands 30 minutes earlier than everybody else. So if you're staying at a Disney resort, doesn't matter if it's a value, a moderate, a deluxe resort, you get in into basically to enjoy attractions 30 minutes earlier.
Yeah, and that 30 minutes makes a big difference. Trust us. We definitely, if you get up early, it makes a huge difference in your day.
Yep. So if you're coming in, so we recommend, especially if you're staying at a Disney resort, that you get there for rope drop. You get there before your early entry begins. So say Magic Kingdom officially opens at 8, then you're going to want to be there 7:30 or earlier, probably closer to 7, because then you're going to be at the front of the rope drop whenever they open up that land. And for the early entry folks, for Disney Resort guests, they're going to funnel you towards Tomorrowland and Fantasyland. So a lot of people go to either Space Mountain, but even more people go to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Yep. So you're going to see a lot of people going in as if they were going to Seven Dwarfs. And to get basically through that rope drop area, they actually scan your Magic Band or your phone, your park ticket basically, essentially, to confirm that you're staying at a Disney resort so you can access that and use that early entry time. So that's key. Get there early before your rope drop, or your 30 minutes earlier, depending on if you're staying at a Disney resort. Something else that's important to note, and this is again, Disney resort guests, specific to if you're staying at a Disney deluxe level resort. So this is going to be your most expensive Disney resorts, your nicest resorts, but they're called deluxe level resorts. They have another perk that's called Disney Extended Evening Hours. And so another perk to keep in mind when you're planning your day, check the schedule to see if the park that you're visiting, Magic Kingdom being one of them, if it's offering extended evening hours that day, because that can really make a difference in your planning your day.
Typically once per week, Magic Kingdom will do it, and then another day of the week it'll be Epcot.
Sometimes Hollywood Studios.
Sometimes Hollywood Studios.
Yep.
It's usually at least 2 days if you're staying for, say, a week-long trip. There'll be 2 days that have this extended evening.
Okay. So now we're going in from the perspective as if we were staying at a Disney resort. We've just arrived at Magic Kingdom and we're here for rope drop. So if say the park opens at 8 o'clock, we're here at 7:30, maybe 7:15. We're getting into the park. We've scanned our Magic Bands, and now where do we go? So for early entry, we typically, because of our family and our favorite rides, we typically will go through, scan into our Magic Bands to use our early entry access to get in 30 minutes earlier, and we typically go to Fantasyland, and we make a beeline for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Yep.
Now that's our family favorite. It's one of those rides that gets really long wait times during the day, so it's nice if you can get there, get that one done early, get in line, get through that one quickly, and sometimes you can get through that ride within the 30 minutes, you're that early entry time.
Oh yeah,
or
definitely.
Sometimes sooner if they're depending on how far up you are.
Most of the time, we were able to do that and then go and get into another attraction during those first 30 minutes.
A lot of people also go over to Peter Pan's flight. Some people go on to some of the other attractions in Fantasyland that are open during that time as well, such as It's a Small World, Peter Pan's, the Mad Teacups. There's a few in that area that are open during this time. If you wanted to do Seven Dwarfs and then something else before the park officially opens, and then the other lands open up. So depending on the timing of it, we can sometimes do Seven Dwarfs, maybe one more ride, and then we're going on into Frontierland or Adventureland as those lands open up and the park officially opens. From that point, we're going to show you on the map here. So if you're back in Fantasyland at Seven Dwarfs, we actually like to cut behind Fantasyland, moving over into Frontierland where they have Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion kind of cuts around, is kind of located, and then it cuts around down behind the Rivers of America. So if you kind of work it correctly and you get through Seven Dwarfs quickly, you can go to Haunted Mansion whenever Frontierland opens at park open time, and then work your way around Frontierland over to Big Thunder Mountain. And then you've knocked out 3 large attractions in probably that first hour of the day, which is huge for us. We typically can get in 3, sometimes 4 major attractions in that first hour of the day before the crowds start to increase and it starts to pick up. And then we typically will follow on behind Adventureland to go to Pirates of the Caribbean, maybe Jungle Cruise, depending on wait times, to kind of work our way around the rest of the park to some of our favorite attractions. After that, we're talking about, that's probably the first hour to 2 hours of the day. We stop for a mid-morning snack, and then we kind of watch the wait times in the late morning, but until lunchtime, to watch for wait times, see what attractions have lower waits, to go and jump in some lines for those until lunch. We typically like to take a nice break for lunch, then sit down, take a little break, and then after lunch, we typically fill in our mid-afternoon with rides and combination of rides and shows, depending on wait times again. Some of our favorites during this time include things like the People Mover in Tomorrowland. We love to ride the Disney World Railroad. It's a nice, just kind of leisurely ride around the park. You can sit down, which is nice, especially if you've been walking all morning.
And if it's hot outside, so you keep that in mind. If you're there in the warmer times, you want to be something that's cooler, at least in the shade, if not indoors.
Yep. We also like getting on the Mark Twain riverboat and just taking a nice leisurely, glide around the rivers of America. Again, find a place to sit down, lots of places in the shade. Kind of get away from the crowds if it's later afternoon, and if you don't care for higher crowds, depending on when you're there, this can be a nice option too. Some shows that we really enjoy during the late afternoon are the PhilharMagic show, which is located in Fantasyland. It's a fun 3D show where you can watch a lot of popular Disney songs and characters, and that one that our kids enjoy. And one of our kids' favorites is the Enchanted Tiki Room in Adventureland. One of the
classic.
iconic,
it's a classic Disney.
Old classic Disney show with the birds singing lots of songs, and it's just can't.
Our kids are always excited to go in there, and you never have to wait.
No,
you just wait for the next show, and you always get in, and we love that.
Yeah, we love that. So that's kind of how we plan our day. Try to fit in a lot of our favorites in the mornings, fill in some of the other ones that we haven't had a chance to get to in the late morning and early afternoons. We like to take a break for our lunches and dinners to sit down, rest our legs, enjoy some delicious food, and typically a nice sit-down dinner for our meal for our dinner.
Yeah.
And then if you are there for extended evening hours, then we typically will go back to either re-ride favorites. And during those extended evening hours, you're gonna have super low wait times, or late evenings after fireworks. Sometimes you can fit in, if there's not extended evening hours, you can maybe fit 1 or 2 more of your favorites to go back and ride again before.
Yeah. Whether or not it's extended evening, one thing is, as long as you get in a line before the park closes, you'll be able to ride that ride. So if there's one big attraction that's had a really long wait the whole day, it's okay to save it as long as you're going to be there until close, and get in there, 15 minutes before they close. It's like, all right, we're going to do this ride now.
Yep, you're going to do that ride, and then it'll be a little bit lower wait times typically at the end of the day. Extended evening hours, you're going to have drastically lower wait times.
If you have that extended evening, be able to stay to the deluxe and be able to do that, we definitely recommend it.
Yeah. So next we're going to share with you guys our approach and our strategy if you weren't staying necessarily at one of the Disney resorts or one of the resorts that gives you that early morning 30 minutes early access to the park, because our strategy typically changes a little bit in that case. So instead of going straight to Fantasyland at Rope Drop, we typically, because all of the folks who have early entry access are going to Fantasyland or Tomorrowland, because those are the 2 lands that are open. So if we're not, if that's not us, or say, okay, we were staying at a Disney resort, but we didn't get around very early in the morning, and we got there maybe right at park open or right before park open at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, whenever the park opens. Then
we've done that.
The strategy changes a little bit.
Sometimes
so all those other folks are going towards Tomorrowland and Fantasyland, so that's not where we go. We go towards Adventureland.
We definitely recommend as early as you can, but if that happens, it's okay, because you still are able to get, no one else is able to get into Adventureland before that.
Right.
So it'll work out okay still.
Yeah. Yep. So then we go instead of at the hub, we go left and we go on into Adventureland. Typically we make a beeline for a Jungle Cruise, go on to Big Thunder Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean. Those are some of our favorite rides that will get longer wait times later in the day. So we can typically do maybe those 3 attractions, maybe sometimes the Haunted Mansion, throw that one in there too, for those big, kind of 4 big rides in those first couple hours of the day. And I would say those first couple hours of the day are going to be the lowest wait times typically that you'll see, that compared to sometimes the late evening hours. Yeah. So some things you can enjoy. After that, our strategy after that is very similar to if we were there for early entry. We do a lot of the same rides and shows and attractions in the afternoon, watching those wait times depending on our family favorites. Again, with the People Mover and the railroad.
All the stuff that you don't have to worry about wait times.
Yeah, yeah. And we just watch the app and see what the wait times look like. Sometimes our kids want to ride Dumbo. Sometimes we get over to the Little Mermaid, which is a kind of that clamshell ride that's just constantly moving. So the wait times don't get too crazy for that one. So we go and hop on that one. So just depends on the day and depends on the wait times. That's some of our our strategy for starting the day and starting the morning. Overall, Magic Kingdom Park has more than 30 rides and attractions. So that's something that we actually really love about Magic Kingdom. And because a majority of those rides are all family friendly, they're available for all ages, young and old, that your whole family can ride together. So many of these rides will show kind of a list for you on the screen. Most of these rides are open for all ages and all height range, any height range. We have a list providing a list of all of the attractions with height requirements. And there's actually very few that actually have height requirements. Those include Barnstormer at 35 inches, Big Thunder Mountain at 40 inches. We have Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. That one is 38 inches. We have Space Mountain at 44 inches. Tron Light Cycle Run, which we already talked about. That one's the tallest height restriction at 48 inches. And then we wanted to also share a note that Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and that's expected to open in late 2024. That's replacing Splash Mountain. That one is also going to have an expected height requirement of 40 inches. Yeah, so, and
speaking from, parents of two little kids, even the ones that have height requirements, most of them are pretty lower height requirements. Yeah, so even when your kids... we have a kindergartner and he's been able to ride most of them for quite a while. Yeah,
yeah. I think the only two that he can't yet ride are Space Mountain and Tron. Yeah. So he's able to ride all the others, and he's a kindergartner. So that kind of gives you perspective. Magic Kingdom has got a lot of rides that were made with families in mind, which we really love that about it. So next we're gonna go over to share our kids' favorite rides. They're gonna share with you their top 5 favorite rides in Magic Kingdom from each of their perspective, which is kind of fun. We thought that you guys would enjoy that. Hey guys! Hi! So our kids are actually going to share with you their top 5 favorite rides at Magic Kingdom, starting with Miss Emma. Hi, Emma.
Hi.
Emma's going to share her number 5 favorite ride. What's your 5th top favorite?
Well, my 5th favorite ride is The Little Mermaid. I love that ride because there's so many songs and I love singing along to them. It's a really fun ride. I love all the characters.
Aw, it's a really sweet ride. I can see why you love it so much. Aw. And Mr. Henry, your number 5 favorite ride?
Is Haunted Mansion.
Oh, why do you like the Haunted Mansion?
Because it's really cool and it does the song while you're in the ride and there's ghosts.
Yeah, and you like that. You're not scared, are you?
No.
you like the Haunted Mansion and the ghosts. All right, next up, our number 4 favorite rides. Miss Emma, what's your number 4 favorite?
My 4th favorite ride is the Jungle Cruise.
Jungle Cruise?
I love that ride because there's all those animals and the skipper is always really funny and telling lots of jokes.
The skippers always make us laugh, don't they? That is a really fun ride. And Mr. Henry, what was your number favorite?
Tomorrowland Speedway.
Tomorrowland Speedway? Now, why do you like that ride?
Because I get to drive the little cars. and I always get my favorite colors.
Your favorite color car? And what also, whenever Mommy rides with you, you get to take me for a ride, don't you?
Yeah.
And you're such a good driver, too. Yeah. It's so fun. I think you're going to be a good driver someday. All right, so for your guys' number 3 favorite ride, you guys actually shared a favorite, I think. What was your favorite?
Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Oh my goodness, and why do you guys like Seven Dwarfs?
Because there's all the dwarves. My favorite part is whenever they're mining and we see all the crystals while you're on the ride.
The sparkly jewels when you're going through the cave. Then when you get on that ride, it's a big kid ride, isn't it? It really moves. And each of the carts are swinging as you go. Do you like that? It's kind of a thrill ride a little bit for you.
You're riding in little carts.
Like you're riding in the little carts where they have their rocks and their jewels. Yeah. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. That's a fun one. Moving on to number 2 favorite ride. So we're working our way up to number 1. Number 2, what was your favorite, Emma?
My favorite is Big Thunder Mountain.
And Henry, what was your number 2 favorite?
Big Thunder Mountain.
Big Thunder! That is a family favorite, isn't it? It's a really good ride. And why do you guys like Big Thunder?
Because there's giant steep mountains and there's big drops and I love it. And when we're going in the night, there's fireworks.
Oh, I know. We did ride it at nighttime during the fireworks, and that was so awesome. What about you, Miss M?
Well, first of all, I really love the queue because you get to spin all the little wheels. I also just love the ride and how it's a roller coaster, but it's not like a big roller coaster.
It's not too scary for you.
It's not too scary.
Yep, it's one that we can all handle really well, huh?
Yeah.
That's all right. We're down to our number 1 favorite ride at Magic Kingdom. So what's yours, Emma?
Mine is Tron.
Tron! And you actually got to ride that for the first time this last year, didn't you? And why do you love Tron?
I love it because it goes so fast and it feels like you're actually in the movie. And they
take pictures of you.
And we were like... And then at one point, you go out of the building and you go... And it's so fun.
It's a thrill ride, isn't it? It's really fast.
And I love how you're like riding on a motorcycle the whole time. It's so cool.
Really, really fun. And Mr. Henry, what's your number 1 favorite ride at Magic Kingdom?
I bet you guys know, but it is Pirates of the Caribbean. And I love it because it does... at the end, Jack Sparrow got all of the gold. And I love it when we get into a giant room filled with water. And then there's giant boats doing cannons. And there's giant splashes, so it actually looks like they're splashing. And at the very front, there's a giant splash.
Yes, a big drop, isn't there? That's pretty fun. I know that's your favorite Disney movie too, isn't it? Pirates of the Caribbean. Makes Henry happy. All right, now that our kids have shared their top 5 favorite rides, that's so fun. I think it's neat to share that with you guys so you can see it from their perspectives and kind of what their favorites are every time that we visit. We also wanted to share our family favorite rides. So collectively for our entire family, what are our top 5 favorites?
It should be very similar.
Yeah, they're very similar, but think of, across our family, including the ones that are our favorites. So for those, we have our top 5 favorites are Big Thunder Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion, Jungle Cruise, and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Yeah. So big attractions, but classic attractions. I would say like things like Haunted Mansion is maybe not always in everybody's top 5, but it's one that our whole family enjoys, including our son, one of our son's favorites, which brings us up there to that top 5 category.
And every one of those attractions, it's kind of what separates Disney from other places you can go as a family, other theme parks even, is that these are all, we enjoy it as much as the kids, and you can just enjoy it as a whole family, but they're still fun, and some of them are even kind of thrilling. Big Thunder, it's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster, but one that we can do with the kids.
Yeah. What would you say is your favorite out of that list?
Oh, it's tough. I think it is Big Thunder, And I don't know that, I think it's really when we start experiencing with the kids. I've always enjoyed it, but once we started doing it as a whole family, I was like, this is a really good attraction.
Yeah.
And it's been around for a little while now. It's classic, but it stands the test of time. It's just a good family coaster.
Yep, I agree. I think that one, but it's probably for me, it's between Big Thunder and Jungle Cruise. It's just a fun boat ride, but the Jungle Skippers just take it to the next level for me. They're always so funny, and we're just laughing, and it's just like, laughter just is good for you. I think good for the soul.
Yeah, it's good for you.
It just makes you happy. So I always feel like I come off that ride just feeling like so happy, and after you've laughed for 20 minutes straight. So
I agree.
Last but not least, we wanted to share with you a couple other things that you can make sure to consider as you're kind of planning out your day. Kind of think about creating a schedule for your day with some of your favorite rides and attractions that your family wants to enjoy, to kind of try to check those boxes throughout the day as the wait times allow. And then keep in mind some other really magical experiences that you can enjoy in the park, which includes the parades. So they have these little like cavalcade parades that go around at different times of the day. They have Dapper Dans. Oftentimes you'll see the band going through and playing music. Really fun things you can enjoy. But they also have the Festival of Fantasy Parade. And this is one that typically it's in the mid-afternoon, close to 3 o'clock typically. And it's a big parade. And it's one of our kids' favorites. They have so many characters that they can enjoy seeing. Our daughter loves getting to see almost all the Disney princesses. And sometimes you'll see rarer characters there too. Some of my favorites are like Mary Poppins, and but you'll get to see lots of characters. And usually some really fun floats and good music too. We don't typically get in line very early for these parades. We typically will try to be, they go such a long route throughout the park. It goes all the way from Frontierland. We'll show you the route on the screen as well. It goes all the way from Frontierland all the way up through the hub, up Main Street USA to the front of the park. So a lot of times we'll just find a spot anywhere in there, you know, 10, 15 minutes before the parade's going to start. Find yourself a spot where you're at least going to have sort of a front row view for our kids to enjoy the parade. Another thing we had to mention, because it's that magical kiss goodnight at the end of your day, which is right now it's the happily ever after fireworks just show. That's going to be either 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock p.m. depending on the time of year that you're visiting the park. It's magical. I'm just going to say it, like, I can't visit Magic Kingdom without enjoying the fireworks show. It's just, it feels like it's the perfect end to the day, and it's such a beautiful show.
We've seen every fireworks show in Disneyland and Disney World over the past 10 years, and this is by far the best one.
Yep.
It just is.
Like, it makes me tear up every single time.
We typically like to go to the fire, end our night with the shows, but we don't always. In some cases, this is one I say do not miss it.
Do not miss that at Magic Kingdom. They are some of the best fireworks that you may see, ever see. The really good show, beautiful songs, choreographed with projections and lights and lasers, Tinkerbell flying through the air. I mean, it's just amazing. It's something that our kids love every single time. I always get teary. Like, it's great.
It will draw a crowd trying to get the best view, and you'll see people waiting for a long time, a couple hours, maybe even. We don't do that. I'd say 45 minutes at the most for us to wait, sometimes half an hour. You definitely want to get a spot where you can see, but you don't need to be, wasting your whole evening on it.
I'd say as long as you're somewhere in front of the castle, you don't have to be right directly in front of the castle. A lot of times we're a little bit ways back, closer near the hub. As long as your view is not obstructed by a tree or something like that, you can still see the castle, or at least the fireworks in the sky. You could also put yourself further back on Main Street USA, closer to the street, and then you can see projections there too, and definitely have a view of the fireworks. Some people even go back as far as the railroad station platform to watch the show. There's also going to be specialty viewing areas that you can enjoy if you pay a little bit extra. They have specialty areas. We don't typically pay extra for that.
If you don't mind paying extra, that's not a bad option, though. Because you don't have to wait a long time. You just pay that a little extra to do it.
Sometimes there's some dining packages that include the fireworks viewing, specialty areas, things like that you can look for if you really don't want to have to wait and you want to have a prime viewing spot. But if you're willing to wait 30 to 45 minutes ahead of fireworks, then you can usually find a really good spot to have a good view. But that's some things we wanted you to keep in mind. We hope you guys enjoyed this video and that it's helpful to you, and to kind of knowing some of our family strategies for what we do in a typical day when we visit the Magic Kingdom. We've been so many times, it's like we kind of know our go-to things that we do every time, but always be willing to be flexible. And always keep in mind that the cast members are bringing the magic to you every single day. So be kind to cast members, be flexible, be patient, knowing that crowd levels can fluctuate throughout the day. So just try to enjoy being in the magic of the Disney bubble and enjoy your day and find the things that bring you and your family some happiness. So we hope this is helpful to you. If you have any questions for us, we're happy to answer your questions. If you want to leave us a comment in the comments below, or you can reach out to us on Instagram or our Facebook pages if you have questions. If you have an upcoming trip to Disney World that you're planning, we'd love to hear about it. So let us know. Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. We hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you real soon. Bye, everyone.